Hey there, ranch hands. Jim Bowles at Motorhome Rehab Ranch, but you knew that because you came here. Today's video is GMC summer survival tips. So here we are. Beautiful spring. It's in the 80s in Florida. Wonderful. You guys up north have been getting your coaches out from storage, from deep sleep, and you're ready to go out and use them. Well, one big tip, if you're up north, don't come here in June or July. You'll die. It's going to be hot. My guess is going to be hot this year. So if you like heat, then come on down. Usually people come down here in the winter, but whatever. And your motorhome you need to think about it for the summer because it gets hot too. All right, let's talk about a few things. First of all, you need to do a good inspection and expect the unexpected. Expect something you never thought about. Let's start with your battery. You've had it in storage, or it's been all winter or whatever. Turn off everything, even if you want to disconnect the batteries, and let them sit for a day. You've had it under charge or whatever. Let it sit for a day. The reason is if we want the top charge to come down, we want to look at the condition of the battery static, right? So either turn everything off or disconnect them, wait a day, 24 hours. Now go check the battery. Fully charged battery should be 12.65 volts. And the 0.65 volt means a lot, because if you're under 12 volts, we got a problem. A top charge on the battery is 13.1. So theoretically, you should be 12.65 to 13 volts on your battery. Static charge, static reading, 24 hours just sitting there. All right. All right. Now, hook it up, hook the batteries up or whatever. Go fire up the coach. How's it fire up? If it fires up real nice, good. Read your voltage. Your alternator should be on, and it should be putting out somewhere in 13.2, 13.6, somewhere like that. If you have 14.5 or 15 or 16 volts, that's not good. That means the regulator's died. Okay, you don't want to have that charge. So you may want to look at your alternator. Okay, very, very important. Next thing, your tires. Now, tires ain't pretty, but tires are strategically designed, engineered. The adhesion in the synthetic rubber starts to break down at about 5 years. Okay, you should not run your tires more than 5 years. You have a Corvette. Guys with Corvettes never drive old tires, because if the tire blows out, it's going to blow half his car apart. Well, from 1969 to present day, Corvettes are made out of SMC plastic, which is what the lower part of your motorhome is made out of. So you do not want to have a blowout. Okay, so look at your date codes. There's a 4-digit number in a rectangular opening that was stamped onto it. First 2 digits are the month, and the next 2 are the year. So if you got 15/21, it's the 15th week of 21. Okay. If you're at 5 years, I would get some tires. Nobody said this would be cheap. It's going to cost you $1,000, but you just don't want to play with it. Okay. Take a look at the tires, see if they're weather cracked or checked or anything like that. If you got any nails in them, where'd that come from? I don't know. Run your hand around them. Look at your tire pressure. Now, if you have E-rated tires, which you should, they're rated at 80 pounds. Okay. Well, if you put 80 pounds in it, it's going to drive like a rock truck. I would at least put 75 or 70 in them. Okay. It's important. The less tire pressure you have, the hotter the tire will get. Now, the more tire pressure, uh, uh, it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be a little more bumpy. Some folks put 65 pounds. The real way to do it is you weigh the coaches. Sometimes the rallies they just had, you may have weigh the coaches and be real exact. You say, well, weigh each tire. Well, the coach is not level. It's not balanced. I mean, you got a generator on one side, you have water in the other, that kind of thing. So, but generally speaking, if you've got an 80-pound tire, 70, 75 pounds should work real well. Okay. Belts. Sitting over the winter, the belts could have cracked. Okay. You didn't do anything to them. You don't have to. They do it to themselves. So go in there and twist the belt and look at the back side of the belt. Kind of open them up. See if you see any crack. If you do, replace them. Your alternator belt, if you have an original setup, alternator belt is a 7570. Power steering belt is a 7450. These are Gates numbers. And your AC should be a 7613, but you need to look at that. Always carry an extra set of belts because you never know what's going to happen. Check the belt tension, see that they're good and tight and all that kind of stuff. Very, very important. Okay? Because they'll just go out. You say, well, what happened? Hey, thing's 50 years old now. It doesn't need a reason. Okay? Want to check your fluids. Now, transmission fluid. You may have a small puddle under your coach of transmission fluid. You go, oh no, got a big problem. Well, you might, okay, but the torque converter has a check valve in it, and half of your fluid stays in the torque converter. There's a check valve that holds the fluid in the torque converter. Well, the check valve is a metal valve, and over time, it could slowly leak. And if the fluid level gets above the pan, gets above the gasket might weep a little bit. It's true. If it wasn't put in there with, we use Permatex aircraft forma gasket. It's in a dollop, I think. You might have a little bit of a leak. Also, if the fluid level gets up to the height of the shifter shaft that goes in on the left side or on the right side of the modulator valve, the seals there may also leak, which wouldn't put you on the side of the road or anything like that. And if you go drive it and you drive it all the time and the fluid stays in the torque converter, it might not ever leak. Okay. But look at all your fluids. Look at your cooler lines. Maybe tighten them up a little bit, give a little wrench on them. See if you see anything seeping. One guy was on Facebook and said that he looked at his coach and he had a little bit of coolant on the top of the intake manifold. Take your air cleaner off, inspect the motor, look at it, see what's going on. Now, there are a couple of bolts on the intake manifold, at least one that I know of, that actually gets into the water jacket. Okay, and over time, some bolt could come loose or a gasket seep or something like that. Look at the thermostat housing, somewhere like that. Also, the bolt that holds the spring for your carburetor. I've seen that one come loose and coolant come out of it. So you want to look at that. Okay, but also tighten all the other bolts. Put a wrench on your exhaust manifold bolts. Snug out. They're 5. Okay, make sure they're good and snug. All right, just look at all the bolts. Look at your valve cover bolts. Now they're not going to be tight, but they're going to be snug. If you tight, it'll pull them down. Okay, just kind of look at all the bolts. You say, oh well, look at all. Yeah, they look good. No, no, no. Put a wrench on. Thing's been sitting a little while. You're going to be out and using this thing. You need to check this stuff. Okay. Your air ride system. Cycle it. Turn the coach on. Go push lower. Let it go all the way to the ground. Okay? Then hit travel. Let it come up to the predetermined ride height. Balance it out. Okay. What should happen is you go up to ride height, and then the compressor should shut off. That means the pressure is pressurized up. Then, if it does that, should take, if you have an original Delco compressor, it should take about 8 to 12 minutes. You have one of the Viairs, it'll be half that time. But when it does that, it shuts off, the compressor shuts off. That means it's at ride height. Go to raise. Let it come up a little bit. See if it goes up, and then push travel again. See if it goes back down to travel, and then shuts off. You need to know if that thing will cycle. And to check fittings. You need to see if it leaks. You should have an air shutoff kit. In other words, a valve at the airbag that if there is a problem, you can shut it off. And you need to have an extra compressor, a onboard auxiliary compressor, that if there is a problem, you can pump it up. You say, well, I've never had a problem. Well, never. There's an end to never. You may have a problem. You never know. Okay. Cycle your freshwater system. Now, if that thing's had water in it the whole time, and it's been cold up there, you need to know that there's no fitting leak. Push your pump on. You should pump up the pressure and hold. If you hear the pump come on, you may have a leak somewhere. Not uncommon. Okay. The 73s were plumbed with copper, sweated copper. They found that wasn't a good idea, bouncing down the road. So after that, it was put in with plastic. Fittings crack. There are two fittings, one behind this on a GM floor plan, one behind the stove and one behind the water heater. There are those are two T fittings. They have different pressures on them because they're, you know what I mean, a T, and those crack. So you want to check your pressure and make sure it pressures up. If you haven't had water in it, put water in it. Cycle the freshwater system. Really, really important. I mean, you get out there and something's leaking. As rotomolded plastic deteriorates, as it ages, it deteriorates, it shrinks. You don't have to do anything. As it deteriorates, it shrinks, and it'll crack around the fittings, or on the corners, or where the pressure points are. So don't be surprised. Remember, this thing's 50 years old, and there are some 50-year-old parts on this thing. Even a restored coach has some old parts. Okay. In Florida, and they say up north too, but in Florida, you have to, in Florida, you have to deal with, all kinds of critters, gators, snakes, but mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are a big thing down here. And you know that you're in summer in Florida because why? Because your door is shut. Mosquitoes get in there and it'll ruin your day, boy. They're just everywhere. Now, hang on one second. Be right back. You've seen the new hobby, sport, pastime of pickleball, right? What's the big deal? You don't have to work quite as hard. And it's you got finesse to it and all this, and I can see why it got good. But in Florida, I think they missed the real great sport down here. Forget pickleball. Let's go after mosquitoes. Skeeter ball. I actually leave the screen door at my house open. I bait them. Harbor Freight uh, electric fly swatter. Yeah, what a lot of fun. Boy, it hits those. I wish I could show you. It makes you feel really good. All those years, those mosquitoes biting you, you know. Skeeter ball. Well, you don't want to do that. Let me give you another idea. You've seen these magic screens. Let's see. Where they have a screen with two magnets that pop together, right? You've seen that? Well, believe it or not, those work really well in a GMC. Now, you say screen door. Ragusa has a screen door, real nice one. You say, does it fit well? Well, it almost fits perfect. What's the operative word? Almost. You got to fiddle with it a little bit. And if you get one, it might be a little frustrating to put it in, but they are pretty nice. Okay. Let me give you another option, though. Magic screen. Around the door frame, there's an 1/8-inch lip sticking out. Now, normally on our door gasket, we put a bulb trim seal on there, right? So for the summer, pull the bulb trim seal off. Get one of these magic screens. I think we got them at Big Lots for $5. Put that magic screen. Go to Home Depot and get this 1/8-inch edge trim, white plastic edge trim. It's real nice on that clip, on that edge going around the door. Okay. Shut your door. Now, normally your door, like my door, has this this frame around it, and it stands out proud from the inside of the door. Okay. And that edge is recessed in. Okay. Put the top of the magic screen where when the door is shut, it comes out and goes down to the floor. Make sense? You're going to have a little bit of it sticking out of the top. Then on the sides, do the same thing. Keep the door shut and give it enough slack. So you can see here it's got slack to it. Enough slack that when you shut the door, it still stays together. Make sense? Makes a decent screen door. $5. You get mosquitoes in there, you'll be swatting them all night. They find nooks and crannies that you'll never get to them. Ask me how I know. Okay. So I really enjoy that screen door. So take a look at that. You got your awning out there. You got all the stuff out there. You forget about shutting the door. That's the deal. Well, look, just talked to several people who went to the international rally. Had a few problems, few issues. Sounded like you had a great rally. Good job. You guys that are ranch hands that were there, I hope you went and saw Chad and maybe picked up the 200 amp alternator. At least say hey to him and thank him for his work, kind of thing. I hope you have a good summer with your coach. When you drive your coach, watch if you have a transmission temperature gauge. Drive with the transmission gauge. Go out on the road. You should have about 200, 210 degrees. somewhere around there. You start going up hills or it gets really, really hot and transmission temperature comes up, you may want to slow down. So generally I drive either in hills or in hot weather to the transmission temperature gauge. Take your time. No reason to get in a hurry. Remember, this thing is an old machine. Yeah, rub it on the head. Be good. Be good to it. Don't whip it because it's hot for you. It's hot for it too. Just remember this. And I tell you, if you have an original A6 AC compressor, the dash air conditioner, maybe you turn on the generator, use the roof air, and turn that dash AC off. Going down the highway at hours and hours, you're taxing that AC compressor. And when it goes, it's going to make a mess. Going to throw all the belts. Even if you have a new sand-in compressor, I use the compressor in town for sure. I use the dash air conditioner. And if you feel real good about your dash AC, okay, go for it. But that A6 got a lot of friction in it. It's got age to it, and that is not a mission critical thing for you to get home. Yeah, you might sweat a little bit, but if you run your generator, which is a good thing, and you run your roof air on high, maybe a fan inside, blow it up forward or something like that. It's a good idea. I mean, sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. And you may want to leave that dash air conditioner to not be an obstacle to get home. Make sense? I mean, it is 50 years old after all. Look, enjoy your motorhome. This is why we have it. We don't have it just to work on. I know a lot of you guys do, but it is a good object of frustration. But get out with it. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time with it. If you have a problem, pay attention to it. Give me a call. I drive my coach 250 miles, stop, go pee, touch the hubs, go around the coach and touch each hub, because if you have a bearing or brake issue, it will spike a temperature long before it fails. So if you know the condition of your hubs, chances of wheel passing you are low, chances of you loosening your britches are low, and you won't run out of gas. And running out of gas is a bad thing, right? All right. Look, guys, thanks for a few minutes. Hope there was something here you could use. If you have any questions or anything like that, give me a call. If you have a breakdown like a guy had, he lost his drive shaft. Look, if you have a problem, remember it's an old machine. Work it into your journey. Make it part of the journey. Know that it happens. Prepare yourself before you go so you don't have anything happen expensive or anything like that. And $3 a mile to tow it, well, life could be worse. Okay. Thanks for your time. Ranch hands, thanks for your support. If this stuff helps you, become a ranch hand. Help me make more videos. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.